Hey guys, Ryan here from Pioneer Wedding Pro, and today we're talking about color grading. So you've heard that audio is one of the most important aspects of filmmaking. You've heard that music is one of the driving forces to create an emotional response, and that what lens or what camera to buy. But there's one more pivotal element of filmmaking that is extremely valuable to know, and is one of my favorite parts of the filmmaking process, and that is color. The way in which we color our wedding films are such a huge selling point for our couples, and when they are searching for wedding videographers, it does so much more, not just for an artistic or story perspective, but it can be one of the leading causes to you either getting booked or overlooked. I honestly have had so many couples tell me that the reason why they've booked us is because of our color, because of the way it made them feel and how natural and genuine the colors were, which told me in the grand scheme of things how important color is in a wedding film. So for today's video, I want to talk about how I color grade my film. And a bit later on, I'll jump into the editing suite and show you exactly how I color grade, correct my footage, and put on the LUT to get a beautiful cinematic look that keeps couples coming back time and time again. Before we dive into the nitty-gritties of color grading, there are a few key points that I want to address because these foundations are so important for you to understand and to implement so that you can get the most out of your camera's image. First up, let's talk about picture profiles. This is what determines the characteristics of your image. How much contrast, saturation, sharpness, and hues. So it's important for you to make sure that your camera is filming in a profile that will allow you for easy color manipulation. If you record in a picture profile that is standard and you don't customize any of the settings, you may find your image to be a bit more saturated or contrasty, with no room for adjustments later on. It is much easier to add these qualities back into your image, and it's a lot harder to remove them without reducing the quality. The easiest way to do this is by shooting in a natural profile within your camera. If your camera has a profile that is more natural, this profile is not too saturated or contrasty or does not have a lot of sharpness or detail within the image. This way, when you bring all of your footage back into the editor, it's going to make the color grading workflow much easier. Now, when it comes to choosing between log profile and a natural profile, I am more inclined to go with a natural profile, just because on the workflow alone. I don't recommend shooting immediately with a log picture profile, as this is a profile that does take some time to manage and to learn and to understand. Second is going to be the power of proper white balance. Having proper white balance with your image is going to massively improve the look and feel of your film. You definitely don't want to be filming in auto white balance, as this will cause a lot of color shifts throughout the film and the day. And when you get back to the editor, you're trying to apply your LUT, you notice that the color is just shifting all over the place, and that is just not a very pleasing result. This will cause your color to look inconsistent and create a disconnect for the viewer. The sweet spot when it comes to white balance, from what I have found, especially in outdoor natural light environments, is going to be around 56 Kelvin. So having your camera consistently set to 65,000 Kelvin for those natural lit environments is going to give you the best look in those situations. Or if you are in a setting that is more orange, or in a reception area where they have that dim lit orange lights, it is better to drop down your Kelvin to about 32,000 Kelvin. But again, having those practical lights that you can blast light into the scene so that you can still remain within that 56 Kelvin marker is going to be your best bet. The third thing is going to be the correct exposure. This is obviously a given. You know that you want to make sure that you are properly exposing throughout the day. You don't want to have too overexposed highlights or too low underexposed lowlights. And the best way to make sure that you are properly exposing your image is through two methods. One, which is by using the camera's histogram feature, if your camera has one, or through the use of an external monitor using that histogram. But either way, this is a great asset to keep your exposure set properly. Of course, other cameras has a metering system. I like to have my metering system at -1 or +1. It all depends on what you look and feel for the wedding film is going to be. I'm personally comfortable when my image is one underexposed or one overexposed. I know I have the range within my camera either to go into the editing room and to bring back the light or to take away some highlights. Right, so now that we have run through the basics, let's go into the editing room. Hey guys, so we are in the editing suite and I have selected some clips to show you how I do my color grading. So first off, you would see that this scene is obviously overexposed. I did not have my filter with me, and yeah, I had to do with this. So obviously the first thing that I would like to do is to take away the highlights, drop the shadows, a bit of contrast in, and then this already looks good to me. I would then also drop a bit the white. I was thinking by -10, and that fairly looks good. Now the white balance here seems to be looking fine, but you always want your whites to be white. Now I guess that is also a bit subjective, because if I do that, that also looks white, but this looks a bit blue as well. So it all depends on how you want to have the frame to look. So I like this as well. This is good. Then once I've done the basic correction, I would then go into my universal warm LUT. This is my Pioneer universal warm LUT. Now this LUT adds a lot of contrast into the image, so I want to bring it down a bit, and yeah, about 25. I like that. And then just my own stylized LUT. I like the orange and teal look. Once again, this is at 100, and you just want to get the look and feel for it. I like this. 30%. Looks good to me. And then the next scene would be, so this has obviously already been added, or the stylized look has already been added to this LUT here. Obviously you want to deselect your LUT so that you can work with a proper, clean slate image. First of all, I want to bring down the highlights, and then the shadows, a little bit of the white. And I know that I'm not going to put in contrast because I have already something that has a lot of contrast in. So yeah, I'm going to lift the highlights a bit, and I'm going to lift the shadows. I'm going to bring this one down. And there's the stylized look. So what I would do here is I would leave the highlights there, and I would bring back the white a bit. And yeah, and that's what I would then, and that's what I would do when I was editing these two images. Now the one looks a bit cooler and the other one looks a bit warmer. So to fix that, I would introduce a little bit of warmth as well. And ultimately what you want to do is you want to come into your comparison view here, where you can let me find this clip. So you always want to compare the first clip within your scene. So you might have 5 or 6 of the same clips. You want to do your color correction first on the first clip, and then on your second clip, you would like to match the colors as far as possible. Now, a lot of people would use the lumetri scopes. I don't necessarily always go there, just because I try to, with my eyes, duplicate the first frame. So with the first frame here, what I would then do is I would see, okay, well, maybe, yeah, there we go. So I would then bring up my shadows just a bit, and I would add some warm tones in, and this looks fairly unison to me. Now, here are some clips that I've really edited, so that and I took my time here, and yeah, you see that they are all done. There we go. That's how I would do that scene. Next up is in a area where the lighting is a bit much more controlled. We've got nice big windows coming here at the back and also from this side. And the number one thing that I always want to do is bring down my highlights and then the shadows. I like contrasty footage. And then the same with this. I would like to bring down the highlights a bit and the shadows. And now for the Pioneer unveiled light, or let's start with the cinematic one, and let's then go to, as you can see, that the Pioneer unveiled light adds a lot of contrast in. So once again, we want to bring down about to 30. That's without the light, that's with the light, and you can see it's just adding a bit of contrast, a little bit of color to the scene. And then with our stylized light, want to bring it down also around 30, 33. And with that, you can see it's adding that blue and teal look to it. And there you go. I think that looks good. Now, this is a scene that I already worked on. It's a lot more contrasty, but I think this looks good. So there we go, guys. That's how I edit and color grade my footage. I hope you guys got something out of it. And I haven't considered, putting my lights up for sale. But if that is something that you would like to purchase, drop me a comment, and I'll get back to you and see if I can, send you my lights. Have a nice day.